Are you an intermediate or advanced Python programmer? Do you want to learn how to build web applications with Python at the back end? Or do you want to give your current applications a fancy GUI that can be easily accessible through the web and is simple to code? Then you've come to the right place. Python programmer here, and today I'll be showing you how to use Flask in Python to turn any Python program into a nicely looking web app with the possibilities for front-end GUI development being endless. In this tutorial, we're going to cover everything you need to know to get started with Flask. Whether you're using a virtual environment or not, we'll walk through the setup, show some key features and code snippets as well, and by the end you'll have a functional web app that you can build on while following along this tutorial. For this project, we've created um, a Python file inside a folder called Flask tutorial. To install Flask is simple as just using a pip command. So this is optional. It depends on your configuration of your computer. I have like a weird configuration with pip and stuff. So I actually have to navigate to the folder where pip is. I tried it a few times without doing that and it didn't work. So all you have to write is pip install Flask. And then you see it installing there, and then we've got, and if it says there successfully installed and like all the libraries listed there, then that means that Flask has been installed. This is a fresh new interpreter we got, by the way, because I have it on my normal interpreter, of course. And the command is on screen now. I'll put all the commands and code snippets and stuff in the description then, and you can copy it directly. It'll also be in the GitHub then as well. So yeah, everything will be in the description if you want to follow along. And on screen, of course. Okay, so now that we've installed Flask, we can start writing the Python now. First, we have to import Flask, of course, same as any other module. Then we get the code to write. So this is the base code for any Flask app. Then you have to write Flask underscore underscore name underscore underscore, and that'll create the app, but that won't start the app. So that's just to create it first. And that actually has to be from Flask, import Flask. The first one lowercase and the second one uppercase. That is the base code to start, well, to create any Flask app to begin with. Now, a key part of any web app, not just Flask, is routes. So we'd set up a route. It's basically like a path that would go. That's what the web app would load on that path. So the slash path is just with the base URL, isn't it? So that'll be like an index. So we have set up a method hello world, and that should print hello world to the interface then. And in our main statement we've got app.run. So that's how you run the app. You just have to use the .run method. And so when we run it, we get this output then. So we can just navigate to that link. You can also choose what link you want it to go to, for example, by using localhost. And there it is, hello world out there, just as a normal paragraph HTML string. We will build upon that now. For example, we can add HTML tags to this. So H1, for example, that will make the text the maximum heading size. And if we have to run it again to restart the app. But yeah, that is the one drawback of this, that you have to restart your Python if you make any changes to the app. It doesn't automatically save, I don't think. The method we can use to serve a web page, so index.html can be the web page, and we can use render template as shown here. We will be creating an index.html, then inside a templates folder you need the templates folder. And we just AI generated since it's not required for this tutorial. If you know how to make HTML, you can do it yourself. If you don't know, I'd suggest just AI generating it and then just adapting it for your needs. Then that is the HTML. You just got to make a few changes or speed this up. Then, since as I said, it's not part of the tutorial. And now you can see the timer up, task timer. So I didn't mention this before, but this is the app that we're going to be building for this tutorial. Then obviously that doesn't work because we haven't set that up yet. So now we're going to set it up, the set timer method. So it's using, so there's request, which is like a class you can use to from Flask that'll take and post and get requests from the front end. And here we get using it to get the form fields from the HTML where you're adding a task. So we're gonna append that task then to the tasks array, which I'm gonna add in here as well. So we pass in the tasks each time when we render the HTML template, and we initialize it as an array. Then we return the redirect to that index URL. Then you might have seen that bit in the HTML as well, and that's the code we need for that. So now we've set it up. You can see the task timer up. It's not fully done yet, like you can't see the task at the moment. We can use the spin box, just make that minor change. And so now if I reload, I add the same task. Now we can see the task name and the duration there. We can add like features to make it an actual timer as well. We've got one or two ideas for that in mind. Then we'll add this task. Example, get out 15 minutes, then buy 5, and we can use the spin box to change it up and down the duration. We are going to set up not a delete task route, but a register and login route. The register page, you go to login. Yeah. Also, you can click it through and go Copilot. By the way, using GitHub Copilot is not part of this tutorial. I'm just doing it to speed up the process. So we added 2 more web pages to our web app then. So now we need the register method. And let's just keep our logins red and redirect them to login page rather than the login rather than back to index. Okay, so now it's working. Finally, you go home, that's that. If you go login, but obviously we don't. It was invalid and login. There should be a way to go back from there. We probably need that. Anyway, just Windows continue. Oh, we logged in. Oh, we set a timer. Probably add like logged in features and stuff next, but yeah. Don't want to make this tutorial too long, of course. Mm. Okay, so now we've done the HTML for the tasks. As I said before, the HTML is not part of this tutorial, but I will put it on GitHub then, and the link will be in the description for that. So at the moment, we will render the template now. That's the next addition to the Python code. There may be still one or two more additions. I haven't fully finished the HTML, we're just testing it now. So we run it again. And then obviously at the end we'll show how to do it in a virtual environment. But if you enjoyed this tutorial so far, or if you found it useful, then feel free to like and subscribe. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. And let's see how many we get from this. Go back to that. You see, we've done last view. They should be on separate lines, so we do need to change that. We can start the timer and then happens. It glitches out if you try to start the timer on that one. Okay. Maybe that was meant to be in a separate box. Anyway, so I'll fix up the HTML and if I make any more changes to the Python, I'll show them then and get back then with that.
One eternity later.
Okay, so now set timer would have to be modified because there's no extra attributes delivered with the tasks. Really can be task duration. We will change the HTML as well to reflect that. And so we test it one last time. I did record and try and make some development progress afterwards, but couldn't get that part working. I wanted to make it so that the title is dynamic and that it continues then when you return to the task screen after leaving it. But yeah, as you can see here, the time left carries over. And yeah, now we'll show the virtual environment. Thanks for watching so far. Okay, so now we write this in the terminal pi-m venv, which stands for virtual environment, and then we give it a name, for example, Flask venv. Press enter, and then that creates the environment. There's a folder now in the top right. We'll click yes on that, so that will switch our interpreter to the environment. If you see in the at the bottom, it says Flask Python 3.13, and now if we write that next, so there is a activate in here in the scripts, so we just activate that, and now we see Flask venv is on the left hand side in green. We'll have to install the libraries again, so install Flask again. We are using a pip manager. We can install it similar to at the beginning of the video. Now we run it. We'll just speed this part up, then quick run, show that it's still working at the end, and the timer still works. I did make one minor addition to the HTML as well at the end, so we can see that. At the end of the timer, we see that message then. So there you have it, a fully functional web application using Flask. With this foundation, you can build more complex and powerful web applications. If you have any questions or need further help, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll be happy to reply. And thanks for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.